Hey Laura, this is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. I got your email that you sent to me asking me to analyze Gamestop, GME, AMC Theaters, which is AMC, and Amazon, AMZN, which I'm guessing a few people out there have heard of before. Obviously, three very hot stocks. I'm going to analyze all three of them for you. We're going to start with GME, GameStop, and here's a look at its all-time chart here, dating back to its inception back in 2002. Had a good run from 2003 down up to the 2007 high, and then a very large pullback that brought it back down to a pretty cheap stock. But as we can see here, that pullback off the 2007 high into the 2020 low, obviously a very time-consuming long move, is still just a counter-trend three-wave move. So that's a bullish thing, obviously. Whenever you get counter-trend movement to the downside, that means that the trend on some time frame, obviously on a very large time frame, is up. So that's a bullish thing. So the real question becomes, what has happened off of the 2020 low on GME? Obviously, a very popular stock all over the news. So our goal is to find out where this guy is at in this up move and where it's going to go in the future. So let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at this advance off the 2020 low on GME. So here's the advance, and again, things look decently bullish here. You see the low was recorded in April of 2020, and off of that low, what GME gave us was a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave advance into that January 2021 high, put in high in I think around 485, somewhere around there. This is trendy. This is a trendy move. So far, so good. Everything looks pretty good. Now, this is where the issues start for GME. We get this large pullback here. Doesn't look that massive on this time frame, but when you look at the price that actually was lost, or the amount that was lost during this time, again, it went from about 485 down to I think about 30. This was actually a major retracement here, and very large. If we take a look at where a 61.8% retracement would occur, you can see it was up there around 200, substantially higher than where the pullback actually went to. Again, the pullback went down to 30. So this is a very big retracement, retraced more than we would want to see if this 5-wave advance was the start of an even larger uptrend. If we look at this and take this from being a log scale here, which it is, to a linear scale, which just shows 25-point boxes as opposed to equal percentage moves, we see how deep that retracement was in early 2021. It actually retraced 93% of this massive up spike that happened here. Again, that's kind of a problem if we wanted to say that this was the start of a new trend or a larger trend. It doesn't look that way. It looks like it was retraced by too much. So if anything, this pullback here reset everything. And so the question we have to ask then is, off of this low that happened here in February, is this then the start of a new trend? So our goal becomes, let's take a look at this price action here and see if this is the start of new trendy price action according to the Elliott wave theory. So when we zoom in, we don't exactly love what we find here. Here is that huge down move, I guess basically around 475. Down here looks kind of trendy, looks like a trendy move. And then if you look at the price action off of February's low, you see a 3-wave counter trend move. So if we take a step back, we have this nice trendy 5-wave move, but what's happened off of this high is we got a trendy price move to the downside and a counter trend price move to the upside. This is not the formula for immediate strength on GME. So if we zoom back in here, again, you get a trendy 5-wave move and then a 3-wave counter trend move to the upside. Everything since then has kind of been sideways. Obviously, there's been some big moves when you head from 130 up to 270 or whatever it was. That's a pretty substantial move over a short period of time, but everything GME does is pretty fast, and it doesn't look trendy to the upside. So that's a problem for us. What it implies, according to the Elliott wave theory, is that whatever pullback started back in January of 2021 is not yet over. This looks like a wave A. Everything that's happened since then looks like one large B wave that's likely not done. But the implication is that we would get a C wave back down to February's low at some point in time. So I think what's going to happen is the advance that emerged off of May's low should continue. It could flirt or move all the way back up and flirt with this advance high that happened back in March, tested this area back around 350. But aside from that, it doesn't really look like this is the start of a new trend or that this is any type of sustainable move. We would expect at that point for GME to turn back down and again head back down to where it was back in February that area. So you can be bullish on it on a very short-term time frame. It could head all the way from 225 up to 350. Obviously, that would be a pretty big move and worth the trade. Things happen quickly. Who knows how long it'll take, but if I was to guess, it would happen quickly just like everything else. But aside from that, it's really hard to justify any more strength on GME after that, again, because it looks like a larger pullback will form off of that high that was recorded in January. A move below 185 at any point would be an indication to me that it's heading lower and that it's time to be away from GME with the expectation of a move back down. Maybe once that happens, then you start getting a more sustained up move from there. But as far as trading it goes, I'm not really looking to buy something that's trading at 220 that ultimately points back down to the 50 area before the 2021 pullback completes. So again, looks bullish in the near term as long as it stays above 185, but on any larger time frame, it looks like it's still in a very large down move off of that high that was recorded in January. So there is GME. We're going to move on now to AMC. It starts out fairly similarly. You have a big up move, very similar to GME, and then you have a large ABC pullback. This one ultimately went down to, I think, the late 2020 low before it started taking off to the upside and had a massive, huge week. I think the last week, or maybe it was the week before, but just went to the moon from there. You can see it's basically gone from 2 up to 36, a very large move. So again, like we did with GME, our goal is to figure out what's happened in 2021. Is this trendy price action, and can we expect it to continue? So let's go ahead and zoom in on this action off the 2020. It looks like, late or early 2021 low. So this looks much more promising to me than GME, according to the Elliott wave pattern here. That up leg that happened in January does in fact look like a trendy 5-wave move. You get this sharp pullback, and then again you start getting trendy moves to the upside. You get this first, second wave, and then looks like a third wave. So all of this action, this first, second, third wave, looks like the internal action of the larger third wave advance off of that 2021 low. So if we look a little bit closer at the up leg that happened starting in May, you have a first, a second, a third, and a fourth. So this looks like a developing third of a third wave that does not appear over. It looks like it wants to head higher on AMC. Again, I mean, we should ultimately get a large 5-wave advance, and it's currently in the third wave of that advance. So it looks bullish. It looks like it wants to head higher. So let's go ahead and zoom in on just the most recent action here. This is what's happened off of May's low. Again, this looks like the third wave within a larger third wave. And you look at how nice it subdivides into trendy patterns to the upside, counter trend pullbacks to the downside. And again, it doesn't look complete. We should get a 5-wave move off of May's low. We have the first, the second wave, third, and then this last week we're getting that 4th wave pullback, and we expect it to head higher from here. So here's the levels I would be watching, and I am watching because I own AMC and I also own a little bit of GME, as well as Amazon. I guess I have a piece of all these guys, but basically what I'm watching here is I want this current pullback to stay above 21. If it moves below 21, that's a concern for me. That makes it harder to call this just a 4th wave, so that's a good stop level to use on the shorter time frames, which is, I believe, is how you have to trade this guy or GME, just because of how fast it moves. So as long as it can stay above 21 during the current pullback, it's going to look bullish. And a move above 32 would be proof that this pullback off of last week's high is a counter trend move and that higher prices are coming to the upside. So I am bullish on AMC against 21. So there's that one. Let's go ahead and shift our focus now to Amazon, AMZN. We have taken a look at this one several times in the past, but let's go ahead and update it. It was incepted back in 1997. Very large up leg. That was the first wave. Then you had a second wave pullback into the 2001 low. Since that low was recorded in 2001, it's in this massive, gigantic third wave advance that's not yet over. So we're expecting higher prices before this third wave advance and before you get that larger 4th wave pullback, something comparable to this. It'll be on that same time frame, so we'd get the 3rd wave completion, then the 4th wave pullback once wave 3 completes. Right now we think wave 3 will get bigger as the 5th wave of wave 3 does its thing. So let's go ahead and zoom in. This takes a little bit closer look at the advance, just that let's step out here. Just this advance here, the 3rd wave advance off of the 2001 low. We don't show all of it. We just show the end of the first wave, the second wave, and then the big third wave advance, just to provide a little bit more detail why we think we are where we are. So then we had this action here into the 2020 low, largely sideways. This fits as a fourth wave. So off of that 2020 low, this fits as the fifth wave of the larger third wave advance, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this action off the 2021 low. Here's what we have. This shows that fourth wave pullback. It's kind of a running flat correction that again ended in March of 2020. Since then, action has been absolutely beautiful. We have a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth wave up, but then sideways movement. So this does not appear to have completed that fifth wave up. This appears to be wave one of a larger five-wave move. So off of the 2020 low, we're looking for the formation of a larger five-wave advance before there's any larger high that gets put in place. It has turned sideways since the 2020 high. That's not a bad thing. This is counter-trend price movement. Actually, things normally don't move in a straight line, so this is healthier than a lot of the stuff we're seeing elsewhere. So the big question becomes, is this counter-trend movement over? Did it end in 2021? Is this the start of the next third wave up? Or are we still in a larger second wave pullback? If it moves below 3,100, we're going to have to conclude that it's still in that larger second wave pullback. We'll probably come back down to the lows recorded around 2,800. If that happens, if it moves below 3,100, we would expect it to find a low in that yellow area and then turn higher from there in a large up move. It needs to stay largely above like 2,380 to remain bullish. I don't think that'll be a problem. I'd be surprised if it moves much below these lows right here, just based on the way the market's been playing out lately. But that's the level to watch. But more importantly, keep an eye on 3,100. If it moves below there, we'd have to conclude that this sideways counter trend move is not yet over. If instead it's able to stay above 3,100, we can conclude that that counter trend move ended in 2021. This is the first and second wave of the next trendy five-wave move to the upside. So we're bullish on Amazon. Obviously, timing is important. A move below 3,100 says the counter trend move off the 2020 high has not yet completed. So you'd have to just kind of wait for it to complete. You'd probably expect a new low to be recorded and then for price to turn higher from there. So if it moves below 3,100, we would just wait for it to do that. And then once we see strength, that would be the next buying opportunity on Amazon. Either way, we're bullish overall. Amazon continues to look great. It remains a buying opportunity. We'll find out shortly if the counter trend pullback off the 2020 high has completed or not. So, Laura, I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Anybody else watching this video, this is the type of stuff we do every day at TrendLizard.com. Come visit us. We look at everything, every major market every day to tell you how to trade it based on the very accurate and powerful Elliott wave theory. Have a great rest of your long weekend. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.